Here we go. So for a nice change, we'll start sitting down. Any comfortable sitting position just while we warm up the neck and the other joints. So we're going to take slow circles and not necessarily going to your edge. You know, particularly if you've got any niggles in your neck, you want to lift your shoulders and support the neck a little bit as you take this circling. So keeping the shoulders high up is fine. So just a couple of circles in each direction. Now, the reason we're starting on the floor is just so that we can work on our proprioception today with a view to boosting our balance. So this means I want us to get a bit of contact with our feet, our calf muscles, and have that awareness, get the brain tuning into those muscles so that when we come up to standing, we can start to improve our balance using that kind of neuromuscular intelligence. All right, arms to the shoulders, so rolling the shoulders forwards. Let's lift the elbows up to the ceiling, like a nice big yawn if you need to. Big cactus arms and then the elbows into the waist. Oh, that feels good, nice long neck. A couple of times here, bit of a side stretch, so we're lengthening the sides and the front of the chest as we reach up. And think about the thoracic spine, a little bit of peeling back, lengthening the upper back. Let's do this the last time. Then we'll take a stretch across the arms, so we stretch the deltoids. So let's take mirroring here the right arm across the body and lightly pull the arm out of the socket and lean back. So we're creating space in that shoulder joint. Notice I'm stretching right to my fingertips, so the whole chain is switched on and strong. Shoulders down, sitting nice and tall. And then over to the other arm. Hold from underneath. It just means we can cradle and hold the weight of the arm and gently find some softening, release space in the other shoulder. Gorgeous, nice. So a little bit of massage for the shoulders, hands on the shoulders as the chin comes to the chest. And then opposite directions, lift the head and draw those fingers down. So just see this as checking in with any tension we're holding in the neck. Opposite, push the fingers back, chin to chest. A few times, working your way a little bit away from the neck, just feeling how things are in the upper back. And then last of all, onto the wrists. We hold that right wrist and gently pull down, make a fist and circle the wrist. So this will just mean that we are nice and prepared and the muscles of the wrists are ready for when we're on all fours. So with balance, we can see this as good for strengthening the core, balance, stress relief, because it can almost be like a meditation. We have to concentrate so much. Just take a little bit of a squeeze down the forearm, just checking in with the belly of this muscle here, and then over to the other hand. So we clasp right over the joint, gently draw down. So when we make a fist, it's a much more restricted movement, and it's just quite a nice way to release out some tension in the deeper layers of soft tissue there. And then again, moving down onto the forearm, just getting your fingers in there. It can be a little bit interesting. So if you're a bit squeamish about touching your toes, or you're wearing socks, you might need to take them off. Don't worry, just hold the feet and we'll circle the ankle. You'll still get the benefits, but if you're okay with this, we're going to thread through fingers as far as you can in between each of the toes. So it's like you're creating your own toe separator with your hands. And as I say, if you're not comfortable with this, maybe a couple of fingers, maybe just holding the toes. That's fine. So whatever you're comfortable with, ideally feeling a bit of space between the toes. I'm holding the leg and we're going to support ankle circles and that movement into the toes, but without forcing. So it's really hard here to make the foot really heavy and allow the arm, the hand to do all the work. But see if you can, so that it's a smoother and a nice and more flowing movement. Notice I'm using the fingers to flex and extend the toes. So we're getting a lot of movement in all of those tiny joints. And obviously by touching the feet, And we can see it moving. The brain is aware of the muscles that are involved, that movement in the joints. And when we come to standing, obviously any balance, we need to go really grounded. Let's take the circles in the other direction. Have that awareness so we have a really strong foundation. And then we can layer up a nice plumb line, strong line up the body. Be aware of where the center of gravity is, have that engagement in the core. But you know, we have to start from the bottom up. All right, next, the same foot we've been working on, foot on the floor, and see if you can get your fingers just on the outside of that shin bone and just checking in case there's any tightness along there. If it's a little bit tight, this anterior tibialis, this outer muscle just outside the shin, you might feel some referral right down into the top of the foot. So just going nice and easy. Maybe you try flexing and extending so that you feel that engagement in the muscles and the lower leg. And then we're going across to the other side. So we really aid proprioception, that sense of where we are in space, our coordination, by touching the body. This is extra information to feed back to the brain. Okay, toe separating on the other foot. Are you ready? So if you're happy to, get fingers, or one finger if the toes are very close together. It's very hard to get separation in between all of the toes. And we're circling. So the ankle might be a little bit crispy, poppy initially, to support the ankle and maybe reduce the range of movement. A little bit of movement into the toes and trying to find heaviness in the foot, the ankle. So you see my biceps, I'm working hard to hold and take the weight of that foot in the ankle. Think how much of the year we spend with the feet bound in shoes. So always nice to give the body opportunities to get bone away from bone, find some separation. That's how we can then start to influence the other connective tissues. So we change direction. Good flexion, extension through the toes, and let's move on to the shin. So don't be fooled, we'll be doing plenty of active work after this. This is all strong, good preparation. Working into the muscles just on the outside of the shin bone. Maybe add on a little bit of a flexion through the foot. And this might be just something you come back to, you know, with the thumbs around the calf, if you feel it's very tight, might be worth coming back to this self-massage at another time. All right, next key part of our balance work will be being able to switch on the core. So we're going to go straight onto the back. We find a pelvic tilt, so we imprint the lower spine, and we're going to march the feet. So let's keep the shoulders back and down, chin tucked into the chest, zip up the abs, and then we lift one leg to tabletop. So we're going to go through a few times, switching from foot to foot. If you're finding you're arching the back in between, this is your starting point. We lift one leg, then we lower, and then we go to the other leg. If you feel you've got that engagement, we can switch mid-air. You're managing to keep a neutral spine. And really, I want you to just have that awareness and the brain to think about these muscles of the core so that they're more readily switched on when we need them, when we're standing. So I am going for you to try to get to the point of fatigue quite quickly. So see if you can challenge yourself. That pelvic tilt needs to be maintained throughout so that we are holding your TBAs, your six-pack, all these muscles that will help us stand tall and stabilize the torso. We're going to give them a little bit of a workout. So if you're not beginning to tire or shake, your starting point needs to be with your knees a little bit further away. So that the longer the lever, the more strain we're putting on those core muscles, the harder it is to maintain that neutral spine. So let's go for the last, your most intense work for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're not finished. Hold the head in the hands. We come back to this tabletop setup. Now the obliques. If you drop the knees 45 degrees, tilt the pelvis under, so we're zipping up those abs, and then hold that position and curl up. Now we're looking to find that engagement in the side of the waist to help pull us up. So it's almost like the chest and the thighs reaching towards each other in that oblique twist. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and over to the other side. So about 45-degree angles, we're just off center, so that when you curl up, the pelvis is tilted, we're still in that kind of neutral spine, long through the tailbone, and we curl up, find that engagement in the waist, and we hold and squeeze up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. This will seem unrelated, but it is related. Come onto your side for a clam. We're firing up the gluteus medius, the medial glutes. So with a clam, feet together, so knees are in front of the body. Press the feet together and open the knees as wide as they'll go. And if you put your hands, your fingers onto the medial glute, say, you'll feel them fire up. So we're just going to go for 6 of those. And we want the maximum lift, open, separation of the knees, press the feet together for more resistance and feel the glutes fire up. So the medial glutes are the ones which help us, say, to lift the knee up in front of us when we're, and to keep the hips stable. So just giving you all the building blocks so that when we finally come up to standing, we've got the best possible chance of finding stability. Let's have one more on this side, and then we'll pass out the hip, go on to the other side. Fabulous. Pat out. We're flipping over immediately onto the other side. So knees are bent out in front. Lift the feet and really press the feet together. Let's go, because we're only in 6 of these, and it's really just a kind of wake up of the glutes. Really press the feet together. Feel your medial glutes fire up there and close. So keep the pressure between the feet. This is also good for the inner thighs, so that will also help with our balance. And then for the last 4 clams, let's see if we can think about the pelvic floor. So we can almost think about the connection that we can feel between the feet, running up the inner thighs, and then that pull up into those really deep abdominal muscles, and really deep inside your core. Squeeze, engage, and lift. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. No gripping teeth, no frowning. Fabulous. We're going to take a quick count, ready for coming up to standing. So on all 4s, shoulders over the wrists, knees opposite distance apart, just one round. Let's breathe in, sink the belly down, get a nice stretch in those core muscles that we were working. And then the breath out, chin to chest, round. Down dog, if we tuck the toes under, start with bent knees, lengthen the spine, and then we can slowly pace it through from one foot to the other. The nice calf stretch, hamstring stretch, lifting the heels high and pedaling through, pacing it through the feet. Let the head hang heavily. And again, now we can see the toes, see if we can get a little bit more of a bend into the toes. Ragdoll fold, if we walk the hands and the feet together, head will be last to come up. Circle the wrists as we rebuild the spine, head last to come up. Amazing. Shrug out, shake out, and here we are. That's a funny angle. That's not going to help balance it. So standing, preferably not on a very spongy mat, because that's just unnecessarily hard. So we're going to start by placing the hands around the waist and with the feet right under your hips. So as you look down, you should see the same amount of knees or toes underneath you. And if we rock slowly onto one foot, you should feel the opposite side of your waist engaged. And then try it over to the other side. Feel all this engagement here to stop us falling over. We can have the same engagement awareness front and back. As we lean forward, you'll feel your back muscles switch on if you have a go at that. And similarly, if we lean back into the heels, all those deep core muscles to stop us from falling back. So if we try that once more each side, just so that we have that heightened awareness of the automatic engagement in the body, which is there to support us and help our balance. Sometimes just having that awareness, that reminder, gives us a little bit more confidence to try it with a balance. All right, so if we start to think about peeling the heels up, we want to come up into that lift with a nice position. So chin back, we can have the hands on the waist just so that we feel that engagement and squeeze the glutes. And also there's a magnet on the head. See if you can peel just the very edge of the heels off the floor. Still feeling the weight from the toe, big toe side to the little toe side of the ball of the foot. If you feel able to, we can rise up a little bit higher and then lowering down. So let's go for 5 more of those. Look at something in front of you that's not moving. Have that awareness that if we wave it, it's fine. The brain is just going to catch up, engage, front, back, sides of the body. The muscles, they're all ready to kick in and support you. So the brain has this great awareness down to your toes, that movement in the toes, up the legs, your glutes engaging to rise up and give you that control with a bit of wavering on the way down. So no getting frustrated with yourself. Moving on. So what I said about the medial glutes. Now if we lift the right leg, trying to keep the hips level. And if the hips aren't level, it just means that if it's got a dip down, that the medial glutes aren't so strong on that side. So the climb that we took on the side would be a really good one to do for strengthening those glutes. We'll take it side to side. So initially just feeling that destabilization by taking the weight onto one foot and the other. If you feel you're ready for a little bit more of a challenge, we add on the movement of the leg behind you. So the standing leg softens and we hinge at the hips. Back to the front and switch. Now if we're used to really strong, vigorous classes, this can feel frustratingly slow. But you're actually using so many muscles in the body to start to find that control, smoothness in the movements. And feel the outline of the foot. You know, if we were standing on sand, we'd be able to think about that imprint we're making into the sand. See if you can keep that awareness across the ball of the foot. The big toe pressing down, that engages this inner thigh and allows us to have a little bit of a stronger engagement in the pelvic floor, so coming right from the floor up. Shaking's fine, wobbling's fine. This is just calibration. This is what I mean by boosting our proprioception, that connection, awareness, brain to muscle. And moving slowly, we're giving the brain a chance to catch up. Where's the center of gravity? Where do we need to engage more? Amazing. Shake out the legs. We're going to now further test this a little bit with a tree. So we know our options, I think, already. The ball of the arch of the foot can cradle the ankle, knee out to the side, or on the calf, or all the way up into the groin. So choose any one of those 3. And then let's try to think about the imprint of the foot. Press the foot into the inner leg, wherever it happens to be, on the calf, on the floor. Now think about zipping up those abdominals. pelvic floor. And find a little bit of length in the front of the chest and the sides of the chest so that we're not leaning forwards. We want to find that stacked alignment in the body. So wherever you are with the foot, we're already completely lopsided, but the body can switch on all those stabilizers. We can further test our balance, keeping the chin parallel to the floor, as if looking out at the horizon by moving the arms. See if you can take the hands to prayer. Next, we'll go for a V. See if you can open the arms wide, shoulders down. Back of the head still in line with the back of the pelvis. Take the arms out to a wide T. And now, if this is all going well, this will be a funny one. Start to move your arms in any random position. This is just going to completely throw the computer of the brain off. All the rules of balance out the window. You're really challenging the brain. Any random movements with the arms. I know this is hard on your standing ankle, so if there's pain, please come out and shake out the leg. But if you can, there's one more exercise on this side. Look ahead of you, and if you're still managing to get your balance, slowly have a go at closing one eye. And just notice how we're challenging the body. Keep safe, so you can maybe half close the eye and then switch to the other eye. Because I'm not in the room with you, I'm not going to ask you to try closing both, which is what I'm doing now. Just to give you an idea of how much harder you will have seen me start to waver all over the place. So just one eye at a time. You've done really well. And then slowly lower the leg. Give this standing leg a good shake out. Amazing. One to the other side. Plant the toes and think about the feet, the imprint of the foot. The glutes engage, and we take the knee out to the side. Core engage, zip up, a lovely plumb line, everything beautifully stacked. A bit of pressure between the foot and the standing leg. It just gives us that feedback. We can feel the inner thigh engage as we get that pressure. Pulling up, shoulders back and down, chin parallel to the floor. And maybe we take the hands to prayer. So feeling that pressure down, rooting down to rise up. A bit of pressure between the hands can also help with the balance. Breathing slowly with control. Let's see if we can take the hands up to a wide V. So we're ideally keeping the hips pretty much level. Have external rotation of the lifted leg, shoulders down, chin slightly tucked, a little mini double chin there. Wide T. And now those random arms. Optional. Just to see if we can make these a little bit more difficult for the brain. So you're working your concentration, your brain firing off, all directions. Amazing. We're going to try with the eyes, but remember you can always shake out and reset the eyes, the last part of this. So you can keep the arms out wide if that helps you with balance. See if you can close one eye. Particularly as we get older, if we can keep challenging the brain so we keep that sense of balance, really important. Can we change to the other eye? Have a go, see what that does. And then release out. Shake out the leg. Amazing. So whether we're aware of it or not, the brain is now communicating much more effectively with the muscles. So we're going to have a go at revisiting the heel lift. So place the feet right underneath the hips, shoulders back and down. Squeeze the glutes, strong through the whole body. Now with the pelvic floor lifting, see if you can rise up onto the heels, looking at something right in front of you, and then slowly lower down. A few more times. Let's see if we can add on arms floating up. And then lowering down. Twice more like this. Feeling probably a little bit more warmth in your ankles, the toes. Maybe you can feel 10 toes pressing into the floor. It's helpful if we think about pressing down through the big toes, pressing down and slightly together for greater engagement of the inner thigh muscles. Brilliant. Again, shake out. And then let's see how we work with that marching step. Slow down marching step. If we feel a little bit more strength, confidence. So again, looking at something that's not moving with the right foot, step onto the right foot and lift the left knee. Bend the standing leg, hinge back and step back to where you started. So stepping lightly from one foot to the other. Now the other side, we place the weight into the right foot, the left knee lifts. And see if we can step forward. So it's almost like slowing down movement. Bend your standing leg and step back. So if we go from side to side, lightly step forwards, lift the knee, soften the knee, step back. We are really working the finer details of balance here, so that when we speed up, when we're running, we're on uneven ground, the brain is much better equipped to cope. Once more each side. Hopefully it feels a little bit calmer now, does it? You have that transference of weight. And it is nice to have a slight softening in your standing leg when you make that adjustment, just so that we fire up the glutes. We need the engagement of the glutes for that stability. Stepping lightly, finding a little bit of a gliding movement forwards and backwards. How's that been? Well done. Great control. We're going to hula hoop out the hips, hands on the hips, and take the hips all the way, like you're standing in a barrel. We're just easing out. We have a lot of contraction for a good 25, 26 minutes there throughout the legs. Now it's time to lengthen out, release. Support the lower back, tailbone pointing down. Getting that lovely stretch to the backs of the legs. And take it the other way. So hopefully from the earlier warming up session, we've got some sense of whether you're holding a little bit of tension in the calf muscles or along the shin. Obviously we want sponginess in all the muscles. It might be something you revisit and work on over time. We'll take a roll down and roll up, so all nice and nurturing for all the effort that's been held through the body for our balance, chin to chest. And we'll take a little bit of a zigzag on the way down. The effort here is just in the core. So as we come deeper into that forward fold, is zipping in the core so we can find some release in the back of the body. The knees are off lock, nice and soft, a little bit of a bend, and then bend the knees as much as you need to find the floor, and then standing up, rolling up through the spine. Press into the imprint of 10 toes, the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, head last to come up, and at the top, rolling the shoulders back and down, stand wide, sweep the arms out wide, knees open wide, sink down, stretch up into the fingertips, and then melt down. Nice deep breath in, stretch, lengthen through the sides of the body and a little bit into the front of the chest, and melt down. Once more, a deep breath in, stretch, climb, and float the arms across the body down, knees open wide, and then we toe heel the feet in. Last little shake out, and then that is 30 minutes, hopefully with a boost to your balance.